We're holding in Zevachim Daf Samach Gimel, starting in the Mishnah on the top. Zog the Mishnah. Menochois hayu nikmotzois b'chol mokoim ba'azar. What is a mincha? Mincha is the flour. The flour, if you do kmitza, kmitza is taking the three middle fingers and taking out from the flour the kmitza to put on the mizbech. The kmitza, as we saw before, is equivalent to shchita. So menochois nikmotzois b'chol mokoim ba'azar. You could do the kmitza any place in the Azar. When you eat them, what do you eat the mincha? Inside the kloim, which means inside Beis Hamikdash, lezichri kehuna, for any male kohanim, and b'chol machol, any way you want to cook it, leyoim v'layla chatzos, day and night until chatzos, and not more than chatzos. And this has to do with the idea that we don't eat more than chatzos. The pashas, because of the derabanan of not eating more than chatzos, we'll see more about it. So says the Gemara, Omar Blos, mincha shenikmitzo beheichol. If you did kmitzo in the heichol, meaning the kmitzo was not done the azar, was done inside the heichol. Sheira, why? Sheker matzinu b'siluk bazich. Look at siluk bazich. What is siluk bazichin? Siluk bazichin is to remove the spices that belong to the lechem aponim. That's called siluk bazichin. And the siluk bazichin is something was done in the eichel. Because where's the lechem aponim? The aponim is in the eichel. That's where it is. So when they did siluk bazichin, it came from the aponim. The same way you do it, siluk bazichin is considered to be a mincha and is done inside. So every mincha can be done inside. Mesav Yirmiyo is answer Yirmiyo. The komatz b'shom mimokom shiragle hazar oimdois shidashens min apasuk. Someone who brings the mincha to the Beis Hamikdash, so the kohen will do kmitza misham. What's misham? Where the person is standing. So Gemara understands what does it mean where he's standing. Where that individual, the person who's bringing the zar, who's not a kohen, where he's standing. The zar cannot go into the heichel. Discussion in Rishonim, can he go all over the azar? Rashi here learns he could go every other place in the azar except in the heichel, but he can't. He's wherever in Ragli Azar is. So there, Mokom Shiragli Azar Hamdois is not the Eichel. Says the Gemara, which is an additional idea. If he did it with the left hand, it means he should go and just use his right hand, do it again. In other words, put back the kmitza, do the kmitza with the left hand. Just return it back to the flour and do it again with the right. Misham means the place he already did it. So you can fix it. See, he has a different drush. We're going back in Rabban. Some say he asked the question, he answered. So Rabbi Kiva told Rabbi Yirmiyah, I'll explain to you. It's going to tell you the entire Azora is kosher. What's the chiddush? Meaning, not to tell you you can be in the heichel. Mean tell you that wherever the zar is, the eichel is included, even though the zar can't go in there. But it's coming to tell you you can do every place in the zar. What's the chiddush? It needs to be in the north of the azaro. It should be in the north. So the chiddush is that you can do wherever the zar is. The zar is standing even in the door. You can't learn from oil because oil goes completely mizbeach. It's more mechatas. We learn from chatos, it's in the sofa. Malachatos, the same chiyas we had before. Shekin mechaperes. Chatos comes to be a chaper. Al chayav krisus. Meosho. It's not chayav krisus. Al roshu shekin mini domim. It's blood. Mikulu, malakulu shekin mini domim. I can't learn from all of them together. They're all domim on mizbeach. You can't compare it to mincha. Ele itzach. Something more, I'll tell you what. So it says Higish, there's a gosha. And by mincha, so we'll see now, I think Mo's going to address it more. You have idea of a gosha. What's a gosha? You have to take the mincha and bring it next to the mizbeach. You have to touch the kli in the mizbeach. So it says, Higish mizbeach, and then afterwards it says kmitza. Ma gosha b'keren ma rov is joimis. Where is that gosha done? The gosha done is in the southwest corner. That's where that gosha is done. As we'll see in a moment, the makar. Av kmitza b'keren ma rov is joimis. I would think the kmitza needs to be in the same place. Kamash Ron, that's a chiddush. Meaning, not that Tzofan. Tzofan, there's no reason to think it's Tzofan. But what it is maybe it's on the southwest corner only. And now we're saying that we learn one from each other that it's not. Meaning we learn, that's the limud that we have misham, that you could do it not only in the southwest corner, you could do kmitza all over. Shlomim, so now I think we're using another thing. Shlomim sheshachton beheichol ksherim. Shech shlomim in the base of Mikdash is kosher. Shneimar v'shachtu pesach oil moed. So you could do the shechita in the entrance to oil moed. V'lo yatofel chomim in the hikar. So that's the rule. It says pesach oil moed in the entrance. So kosher oil moed. If you could do the entrance, and I'm telling you the entrance is bottle. Pesach oil moed, the door of oil moed, the entry to oil moed, you could do it. So kosher oil moed itself. This soil is not so great. Because the say is called Hazor. The goyim surrounded Hazor. The Kohanim were, in other words, there is a siege. They're running out after the Kohanim. Kohanim need to protect themselves. They can't be in the Hazor. We'll see in a moment what's going on. They can't be there, but they're now in the Hazor. They go into the Eichel. So there they could go in there and even eat kodesh kadoshim in the Eichel. How do you know that? So even though the reference doesn't mean literally the Eichel, just means the way you eat it, but it comes to tell you a drasha that you could do it even, you can eat it even inside. So more of in mind, why you need a special pasuk? Neimo b'chotzor oil moed yichlu. It says chotzor oil moed, the courtyard of oil moed yichlu. The same story you said. It says pesach oil moed we said before means you're saying the ikar is oil moed, and the answer is a tafel. So it's a chotzor oil moed, the ikar is the oil moed. Same way achashto. Hostam avoid do dom oivin milkom raboy. Aminu le tafel chomim and ikar. Here it makes sense. Where do you do avoido? In front of the rebbe, in front of the master. So I'm doing an avoido in front of. It says you could do it Pesach al Moed. So Kol I could do avoid even inside al Moed. Even greater. But Achilo they know don't Achilo Kamaboy. Learn to V'chomim Neikar learning. Achilo is different. It's not proper for a person to eat in front of his rebbe, in front of his master, in front of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. So Torah told you eat in the Chotzer. Chotzer is tafel. It's not the Ikar. So it's Kol can I eat in the Ikar? No. By Achilo you have to refrain from eating in front of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. So I would say dafko when I'm talking about avoido. So I say if you can do the avoid outside in the entry, coach you can do it inside. But achilo, you do it outside because I'm trying to get you away. So that's why I need special puzzle. You can do achilo inside. That's why the more this Joshua is intact. An interesting point. We said over here that just two things I just wanted to mention. One thing is it says that when we learn in the Mishnah, Nechos Tefnim Nakloim. What does it mean Nechos Tefnim Nakloim? It doesn't mean over here that you eat it in the Heichel. It means that you eat it anywhere in the Hazor. That's just a different lashon, which is interesting. There's a he'or over here. Why you say in the Mishnah Nechos Tefnim Nikmotzos B'chol Makom Hazor, and then it says Nechos Tefnim Nakloim, which means in the Hazor as well. So why are you changing the lashon? So one of the answers brought down is because according to ad l'shachos, remember we had these rooms that are open into Kodesh. It could be there; it's a little different, and that's we're talking about that. Okay. Now, one interesting thing over here: what is the reason that you cannot have the crowd have to go into the azar, into the heichel? What's the reason? So Rashi brings that the Chachamim were surrounding him, and for war, the yoyrim chitzim, shooting arrows. The avnei blisteros and stones. Why does Rashi bring that example? Why are you saying there's shooting going on in Hazar? Why? So it's a beautiful idea that in the Yichus and the Lumdus, there's a whole discussion. Do you need to have? We learned earlier that you can't eat the shlomim. You can't do shlomim if the doors of Oil Moed are closed. So there's a chakir in the Achronim. What's the reason? Why you need to have the doors of the Hazor closed? Is it because it's practical? If the doors of the Hazor are closed and you're outside, you don't see the doors of the Eichel. You don't see the Eichel. Or it's a din in the doors to be open. Mind of Kamino, when you're doing inside, if you're eating inside. If I need the doors to be open, even if you're inside, you have doors to be open. But if it's the whole idea is you can see the Eichel, so I don't need the doors to be open if you're inside. So someone wanted to be there. I think Rabbi Brown brought it. That's the reason that Rashi says that they threw stones on the Azara. Why? Because if you talk about the goyim come with the swords and they're surrounding the Azara, so then the Kohanim will run into the Yechon and close the doors to protect themselves. But you talk about the goyim not here; they're far away. They're shooting. So you go into the Eichel, you don't have to close the door. That's why Rashi says this example tell you the doors are still open, maybe to tell you the door, even when you're eating in the Eichel, you need the doors to be open. Very Gishmak on this Rashi. Continues the Mishnah. Chatas oif, the chatas oif, hayaton nases, a keren joimis mariovis. As we mentioned before, this idea of chatos, but now we're mentioning it before we spoke about mincha. Now we'll see in the moment where the Gemara learns it from. Talk about chatas oif. So remember the difference between oif and behemo is the behemo, the chatas is on top, and the oil is in the bottom. And by oif is the opposite. Chatas oif is on the bottom, and the oil is on top. Oil oif is on top. Where do you do chatas oif? You do it you do it in the southwest corner. You can do it anywhere. I was going to explain what does it mean. He said and they said this is the place. So this is the place. What does it mean? You can do it everywhere. He's saying this is the place. That means you should not do it other places. The southwest corner of the Mizbeach had three things done there in the bottom, three things done there in the top. Milamato chatasoif, which is mentioned. Ve'agoshos, we just said the mincha. Remember we saw before that you bring the mincha, you touch it on the corner, the southwest of the mizbeach. Ve'shiyori adam, and the leftover blood that we saw earlier, you spill it where in the southwest corner. That's where you spill it. Milamalon, what do you do on the top? What do you mean when you go up to the top of the mizbeach? Nisuchayayin ve'amayim. You pour down the wine and the water. The oila saif and the bird. What's the bird? Keshi robim mizrach. The oila you do on top. What really you should do on the east side of the mizbeach, as we'll see in the next half. Then tomorrow's half, it should be in the east side of the mizbeach. But you do it here on the west side, on the other side of the mizbeach. Why? Because if you don't have enough room, that's where you do it. And here it's very interesting to point out. Just to see over here on the map, the mizbeach is right over here. Okay, that's the Mizbeach. Here's the Mizbeach. And we're talking about the southeast is right over here. This is where you should have done it. But when you don't have enough room, you go over here. Now we'll see tomorrow, the Machlekes, Rashi Taisis, where is it done on the southwest? Is it done on the Soiviv, the Lord put on this Mizbeach? Or is it done on top? Rashi learns it's done on top, which is similar to this Suchamayim and wine done on top of the Mizbeach. We'll get to that Beis Hashem in tomorrow's daf. Kol oilim the Mizbeach, oilim dechim, mean all the people that go to the Mizbeach, and they go up the ramp to make a right. When they have some chilul base, umekifim, they make a circle. V'yoidim derech small, and they go down from the left. Chutz min oil legimel elu shu oilim v'yoidim alakev. Except these three, Yisuchamayim v'yayin and oilo, you go on top, you make a left. You don't make a right, you make a left to straight to the southwest corner. And the Gemara is going to explain why we do straight that left. So how do we know that you do it in the southwest corner? It says in the pasuk, talking about the minchas choite. When a choite brings a mincha, he doesn't put it in oil of oil of the spice. Ki chatasi. Chatos kriya mincha, or mincha kriya chatos. You see, the Torah is calling the chatos the mincha chatos. Machatos te'unat sofoin, of mincha te'unat sofoin. Chatos requires it to be in the north. Also, the mincha is required to be in the north. That's our girsa. Rashi disagrees. Look at Rashi. Just see a few lines. Rashi says, "Machatos te'unat sofoin. Yudeani shegirsa zushibush." This girsa is a mistake. Why? So Rashi explains. Let's see. We never find they need to be in the north. So even Torah says Rashi minchas choite chaluka min hashar. Maybe minchas choite is different. Ulechados beimo makish lo. We compare it to minchas beimo. Minchas beimo. Have leil mitni b'mesis. Kitani leil. So you should have said in the Mishnah. Hamenochas ikmotz b'chol moka b'azor chutz minchas choite. You should have said minchas choite is different. For the achef shakir be the chatas hoif. Shebo tachas chatas beimo. Chatas hoif. Ain't a tune suffering. Sure, this became our job. We see it in the southwest corner. The mincha comes in, like we have different levels. Mincha is someone who's poor, can't bring a bird, he brings a mincha. Tune and suffering. That can't be. So Rashi says, first of all, it's not written in the Mishnah. Second, it's mincha is less than oif, can be. The girsa achina gosina, but there's another girsa. Pein yodam, so I don't know how to explain it. Penir be'enai, I say, says Rashi. Machatos psula shel lishmo, mincha psula shel lishmo. The Gemara says you're learning the minchas psula shel lishmo. Now, if you look at the right, there's a very long Tosis over here. Tosis wants to say in the beginning, like the Girsa that we have, that you have to do in the north. Then he brings another Girsa that says you have to be Yisoid. When you're comparing Mincha to Chatos, they both have to be in the Yisoid. And then he brings another Girsa that has to be Yamin. So we have a problem with the Girsas. The Gemara, something is learned. Mincha is learned from Chatos in a certain way. We're not so clear what it is. Anyway, says the Gemara, Uma Mincha because Maravis Dromis. The Mincha is done in the southwest corner. If Chatos because Maravis Dromis, that's what we want to learn over here from the southwest corner. We mentioned already now, that the Mincha goes in the southwest corner. Where do we know that from? Tanya Lifnei Hashem. It says Lifnei Hashem. The pasuk says Zois Torah Mincha Krivus Abnei Aaron Lifnei Hashem. So Lifnei Hashem means in front of Hashem, in front of the door of the Eichel. Yechol B'Mayrav should be in the west, which is entrance to the Eichel. The face of the Mizbech. What's the face of the Mizbech? As we saw in yesterday's daf, it's the south, where the ramp is. Either the Mizbech Yechol B'Dorim could be in the south. That's the west. Haketzat. Oh, so I'm doing southwest. Okay, it's not west because it's south. It's not south because it's west. So it's the corner. It's the corner of the southwest corner. You touch that corner. That's the first sheet, and that's on the Mishnah sheet of our Mishnah. Could it be able to do it to the west or to the south? Once every time you see two psukim. One works to comply with himself and with another one. Another one is good for himself, but it's canceling the other one. In other words, I try to reconcile psukim, not try to make a problem. When it says of Pnei Hashem, if you say Ma'ariv, it's not south. When you say south, you still have Pnei Hashem. Why? This goes back to what we wrote earlier. He holds the Mizbeach is in the north. So if the Mizbeach is in the north, as we saw, so then the south of the Mizbeach is right in front of the door, right? Because when you look again at the map, you have over here the Eichel. This is the Eichel. And you have the door of the Eichel. If in front of the door the Mizbeach is facing the Tzafon, the south of the Mizbeach is right in front of the door. So says the Gemara, look at this. If you hold the Mizbeach in Tzafon, when you go out from the door, what do you see in front of you? The south of the Mizbeach. That's why. That's the reason that we're saying that, so this Madama hold, just do it in the south, because the south is both Ifnei Hashem and it's both Pnei Mizbeach. Not the corner. I'm not trying to reconcile. So the first Mandama says reconcile because it can't be south, it can't be west. I'm doing something in between. This Mandama says no, I'm doing something in between. You should do the south, which is could be Bnei Mizbeach if you hold north, and that's how he says that you should do it in the south. Okay, continues the Gemara. So we said any place you could do it, but then we said the place you have to do it, but you have to do it in the southwest. So what does it mean? So you can do the milika. The milika is the shechita, is the killing of the bird. You can do it everywhere. But what do you do that? Southwest corner. That's exactly like the following price. This is another price we can have to fix the lush. Let's see. You can do milika any place. Hazah is also kosher in a place. That's what we're going to fix in a moment. So he did azah, but he didn't do mitzui. Mitzui, we'll see, is squeezing the bird after it's finished on the mizbeach. Sheyu. As long as he gives dam nefesh, the blood, which means the bottom half of the mizbeach. Says the Gemara, my kol, what are you talking? Hachikol. Molko b'chol mokom mizbeach sheyu. Milika is kosher everywhere. Killing the animal. Mitzah dam b'chol mokom mizbeach sheyu. Now our lashon was hizo. Hizo is not kosher b'chol mokom. As we'll see, as you said before, so in the southwest corner. But mitzui can be there everywhere. You could squeeze the bird anywhere. There's a Gemara that's from Dalam Dalef. Shehim hizo v'lo mitzah sheyu. Why can I do mitzah everywhere? Because I don't have to do mitzvah. If I just did azah, if you just did the throwing of the blood, and you didn't do mitzvah, it's still kosher. As long as he gave dam nefesh in the bottom part, which means hazah, right? Look at Losh Rashi. And that's telling you they have to do it in the bottom. So as Rashi explains, this is maybe something we were after the Magdim before. When it says you can do it everywhere, it means top of the Mizbech and bottom of the Mizbech. So we're saying Hazor needs to be done really in the bottom of the Mizbech. And when the Mishnah says what does it mean? Going back to what Rashi said before. Says Rashi, look at the bottom, that's something on the base. Top and bottom of the Mizbech. Only Hazor needs to be in the bottom. We see it says the drosh. So we're saying, that's what we're saying. Say like this. Hazor needs to be in the bottom. Milika could be also on the top. So going back to the Brisa. Milika b'chol mokum. It could be anywhere in the Mizbech. Mitsui could be also anywhere. Why? Because Mitsui you can skip. So what is it? Milika means killing that. So there's a 3-stage process we refer to right here. Milika is killing the bird. Then you have Hazor sprinkling the blood of the Mizbech. And then you have Mitsui, which is squeezing the leftover blood by putting the bird next to squeezing the bird to the Mizbech. So he's saying Milika could be everywhere, and Mitzui could be everywhere. Milika could be everywhere because that we don't have a mute. It's like shchita. Mitsui could be everywhere because you can skip it. The only thing I need to do in the bottom part of his back, that is Hazor. And where is the Hazor? And Keret Joey's Ma'arav, as you do in the southwest corner, that's where you do the Hazor. And that's the place of the Hazor. But the Hazor needs to be in the bottom part of the Mizbech. I'm talking about now in the location in the Mizbech, but if it's bottom part, the top part, more tells you the Hazor needs to be in the bottom, and the Brisa tells you, just one last time, we'll see the thing. Malka b'chol you can do Malika any place up and down. Mitzvah you can do Mitzvah anywhere. Shimi is of Mitzvah because you don't have to do Mitzvah at all. Referring to Hazor. Hazor needs to be in the part of the Mizbeach. So we'll stop over here, continue from here tomorrow. Be'ezer Hashem.